First contact and invasion. They thought we were primitive. Just another backwater species fumbling with basic technology on a resource-rich world. They calculated our defeat with mathematical precision, but in all their advanced simulations, they forgot one critical variable: what it truly means to be human. Grand Admiral Xelox stood on the command deck of the Void Sovereign, flagship of the combined hegemony fleet. His 6 eyes blinked in sequence as he studied the holographic display of Sol system. The small blue-green planet third from the star seemed insignificant among the cosmic vastness. Yet resources were resources, and the hegemony was always expanding. Fleet deployment status. Xelox inquired, his voice betraying no emotion despite the monumental invasion about to commence. All 9,900 vessels in formation. Admiral, replied Sub-Commander Varys, her metallic skin reflecting the console lights. Distributed across 5 waves as specified in the Conquest Protocol. First wave is prepared for atmospheric entry. Xelox nodded, his central eyes focused on Earth, while his peripheral vision monitored fleet diagnostics. Invasion assets. 4 billion ground troops ready for deployment, 16,000 atmospheric fighters, and 8,000 planetary bombardment platforms. Varys responded. Resource extraction equipment is prepared for immediate deployment once resistance is neutralized. Projected conquest timeline. Intelligence suggests complete planetary pacification within 72 hours, resource extraction to begin immediately thereafter. Minimal casualties expected on our side. Xelox allowed himself a small gesture of satisfaction, tapping his ceremonial staff against the deck. The Hegemony Council has high expectations for this acquisition. Begin the approach sequence. The massive armada moved like a perfect machine, thousands of ships arranged in precise geometric patterns designed to maximize tactical advantage, while presenting an overwhelming psychological deterrent to the primitives below. The conquest of Earth would be his crowning achievement before retirement. Entering detection range of Earth's primitive scanning systems in 3 minutes, announced the tactical officer. Proceed with communications blackout protocol. Xelox ordered. Let them see us coming. Fear will soften their resistance. What happened next would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries to come. As the Armada crossed the orbit of Mars, Earth's response began. Not with panic, not with desperate pleas for mercy, but with a coordinated defense that should have been impossible for a species that still used fossil fuels and fought among themselves. Admiral, Varys called, her voice tight with confusion. We're detecting unusual activity across Earth's orbital space. Specify, Xelox demanded. Thousands of small objects changing trajectory. They appear to be debris, but they're moving with purpose. Xelox dismissed her concern with a wave. They're primitive satellites, nothing more. Continue the approach. The first wave of 2,000 ships entered Earth's upper atmosphere, deploying in perfect formation above major population centers. Standard protocol for mass subjugation. The displays showed panicking humans in the streets below, pointing skyward at the massive ships now darkening their skies. Commence intimidation protocol. Xelox commanded. Deploy sonic weapons across all major cities. Break their will before we break their bodies. Transmission incoming, the communications officer announced with surprise. It's broadcasting on our secure frequency. Impossible, Xelox hissed. Put it through. The command deck speakers crackled to life with a calm human voice. Attention alien fleet. This is General Amara Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. Your presence constitutes an act of war against humanity. You have 60 seconds to reverse course and leave our solar system. Stunned silence fell across the command deck before Xelox broke into laughter. Their arrogance is amusing. Ignore the transmission and proceed with. The deck rocked violently as alarms blared throughout the ship. Report. Xelox demanded. First wave under attack. Varys shouted over the chaos. The orbital debris, their weapons, kinetic impact devices with fusion warheads. T-Lox gripped his command console as tactical displays showed the unthinkable. Dozens of first-wave ships were already destroyed, hundreds more damaged and losing altitude. "Impossible," he whispered. "Their technology isn't capable of." "Second transmission incoming," the communications officer interrupted. The same calm voice returned. "Your 60 seconds have expired. Welcome to Earth. We've been expecting you." The words chilled T-Lox to his core. How could they have known? The invasion plans were the hegemony's most closely guarded secret. "All ships, defensive formations," he ordered. "Deploy countermeasures and prepare for." His words died as a new horror unfolded on the tactical displays. The humans weren't just fighting back, they were counterattacking with methodical precision. Earth's militaries weren't scattered and disorganized as intelligence had suggested. They moved with coordinated purpose, targeting command ships and communication nodes with impossible accuracy. "They're in our systems," the cybersecurity officer screamed. "Human attack programs are bypassing our firewalls like they don't exist." "Lock them out," T-Lox demanded. "I can't. They're using protocols we've never seen before. They're broadcasting some kind of cultural transmission across all frequencies." The ship's speakers suddenly blasted what humans called music, a rhythmic sound that the translation systems identified as something called "Welcome to the Jungle." "First wave has lost 40% of its ships," Varys reported, her professional demeanor cracking. "Second wave moving to support, but encountering heavy resistance from everything." "Everything," T-Lox demanded. "Orbital weapons, atmospheric fighters, ground-based energy weapons we didn't know they possessed, and their civilian population." She paused, checking her data. "They're not panicking. They're assisting military units, following pre-established protocols." The terrible truth dawned on T-Lox. They knew we were coming. 6 hours into what should have been a 72-hour conquest, the hegemony armada was in disarray. The first and second waves had been decimated. The third wave, meant for administrative occupation, found itself thrust into frontline combat. The fourth and fifth waves desperately tried to establish a defensive perimeter in orbit. T-Lox stood amid the chaos of his command center, watching in horror as the invasion force that had conquered 17 other worlds was being systematically dismantled by a species that, according to all intelligence, should have surrendered at first sight of their ships. How? He demanded of no one in particular. How are they doing this? Strategic Officer Melnar approached cautiously. "Sir, we've analyzed their defense patterns. It appears they've been preparing for extraterrestrial invasion for decades. Their entire culture is saturated with invasion scenarios. They'd been wargaming this exact situation through something they call entertainment." "That's absurd," T-Lox snapped. "Furthermore," Melnar continued, "they've developed technologies in secret. Their official capabilities are deliberately understated, and most concerning of all, they appear to have designed their defense specifically to counter our known tactics." "That's impossible unless—" T-Lox froze as the implications sank in. "Unless they've encountered hegemony forces before." The ship rocked again as another impact registered. "We've lost half the fleet," Varys reported grimly. "The humans have deployed some kind of autonomous combat drones that are targeting our engines with precision strikes." "Order a strategic withdrawal," T-Lox commanded. "Regroup beyond their moon." "Sir," the communications officer interrupted, "I'm receiving thousands of transmissions from Earth's surface. They're broadcasting on all our frequencies. Different languages, different voices, but the same message." "What message?" T-Lox asked, though he already dreaded the answer. "This is our home. You are not welcome here. Leave or be destroyed." As the broken hegemony fleet retreated toward lunar orbit, T-Lox watched the tactical displays with growing horror. The humans weren't just defending. They were pursuing. Earth's surface now bristled with launch platforms, sending more combat vessels into orbit. They had been hiding their true capabilities all along, waiting for this moment. All remaining ships, Thalok's broadcast. Prepare for emergency FTL departure. Return coordinates to Hegemony Command. We must warn them. But even this retreat would not go as planned. The Reckoning. Commander Maya Rodriguez stood in the control center of the Luna Defense Station, watching holographic displays tracking the alien retreat. After 15 years preparing for this day, the Global Defense Initiative's massive gamble was paying off. Status report, she demanded, her eyes fixed on the alien flagship. 80% of invasion force neutralized or disabled, reported Tactical Officer Kwan. The remainder are attempting to regroup beyond lunar orbit. Their formation suggests preparation for faster-than-light departure. Maya nodded, her expression grim. Deploy the slingshot. General Harris, representing the United Nations Security Council, stepped forward. Are you certain, Commander? We've never tested it against actual alien technology. That's not entirely true, General, Maya replied quietly. We've had 70 years to study the Roswell debris. That's why we're winning today. Understanding dawned on the General's face. The crashed ship in 1947 was an advanced scout for the Hegemony, Maya confirmed. We captured their communication systems intact. We've been listening to them for decades, learning their language, their tactics, their weaknesses. Today isn't humanity's first contact with the Hegemony. It's just the first time they've noticed us. Across the lunar surface, massive electromagnetic accelerators powered up. The slingshot system, humanity's secret weapon designed specifically to disrupt alien FTL drives. Earth had prepared not just to repel an invasion, but to ensure the invaders could never return. Aboard the Void Sovereign, Thalok was confronting the greatest disaster in Hegemony military history. 7,000 ships lost, Varys reported, her voice hollow. Another 2,000 disabled or abandoned. Casualty numbers, incalculable. How could our intelligence be so wrong? Thalok demanded, slamming his fist against his command console. They were supposed to be primitive. Strategic Officer Melner approached with a data tablet. Sir, I've completed analysis of human communications we've intercepted. It appears they recovered one of our scout ships from their mid-20th century. Impossible, Thalok breathed. The Archivist mission was reported lost to stellar phenomena. The humans recovered it, Melner insisted. They had decades to reverse engineer our technology. But more importantly, they've had access to our communication protocols. They've been monitoring Hegemony transmissions, learning our tactics, our weaknesses. All remaining ships, Thalok's broadcast, initiate emergency FTL jump immediately. Escape coordinates Alpha 9 Delta. But as the surviving ships engaged their FTL drives, alarms blared across the fleet. FTL field disruption. The navigation officer shouted. Massive electromagnetic interference from the lunar surface. On the tactical display, Thalok watched in horror as massive energy beams shot from the moon's surface, creating a web of disruption fields that trapped his remaining ships in normal space. They've weaponized our own technology against us, he whispered, the terrible truth finally sinking in. The human voice returned to their communication system. General Chen, sounding as calm as ever. Admiral Thalok, this is your final warning. Surrender your remaining vessels or be destroyed. You have 5 minutes to comply. Thalok sank into his command chair, defeat crushing down on him like a physical weight. How do you know my name? He asked, his voice barely audible. We know everything about you, Chen replied. About the Hegemony. About the 17 worlds you've conquered before attempting Earth. We've been listening for decades. As his officers looked to him for orders, Thalok made the hardest decision of his career. Prepare escape vessels. Abandon ship. All command staff to emergency transports. We must ensure the Hegemony learns what happened here. The evacuation was chaotic but efficient. Hegemony commanders were trained for every contingency, except, it seemed, utter defeat at the hands of a supposedly primitive species. In the chaos of the retreat, 17 ships managed to break through the human defenses, accelerating toward the edge of the solar system, where they could safely engage their FTL drives. Aboard the small command shuttle fleeing the doomed Void Sovereign, Silox watched his magnificent armada being systematically dismantled. "We came with 9,900 ships," he said to no one in particular. "We leave with 17. The Council will demand answers," Varys said, her voice subdued. "And I will give them truth," Silox replied. "We gravely underestimated humanity. They are not the primitives we thought them to be. They are warriors who have been preparing for this day for generations." As the shuttle finally cleared the solar system and engaged its FTL drive, Silox recorded his final report. To the Hegemony High Council, Earth must be reclassified immediately. Previous intelligence was catastrophically flawed. The humans are not primitive. They are dangerous beyond measure. They possess technological capabilities far beyond their apparent development level. More concerning, they have demonstrated an unparalleled capacity for adaptation and innovation in combat. Most alarming of all, they have been aware of the hegemony for decades. They know our tactics, our technology, and our weaknesses. The cost of this intelligence failure: 9883 ships lost, millions of hegemony soldiers dead or captured. My recommendation is immediate and non-negotiable. Earth and the Sol system must be quarantined. No hegemony vessel should ever approach that death trap again. The humans should be contained within their system at all costs. Because if they decide to expand beyond their world, I fear not even the combined might of the hegemony will be able to stop them. On Earth, celebrations erupted across every continent. Humanity had faced its greatest test and emerged victorious. In the White House Situation Room, President Okonkwo addressed the assembled military leadership and scientific advisors who had made this victory possible. "Today, we have revealed ourselves to the galaxy," the president said solemnly. "The masquerade is over. For 70 years, we kept our true capabilities hidden, preparing for this day. We knew they would come eventually. Thanks to your foresight, your dedication, and your secrecy, humanity has survived." Dr. Sarah Takahashi, head of the Roswell Reverse Engineering Division, spoke up. "Madam President, the surviving alien vessels have cleared the solar system. Based on their technology, they'll reach their home territories in approximately 2 months." "Good," the president nodded. "That gives us time." "Time for what?" General Chen asked. President Okonkwo's expression hardened. "To prepare for what comes next. Today we defended our home. But the hegemony has conquered 17 other worlds, worlds filled with beings who, like us, deserve freedom." She turned to face the wall-sized display showing Earth, beautiful and blue, now surrounded by the debris of an alien armada that had gravely underestimated humanity. "They came to conquer us," she said. "Instead, they've introduced us to a galaxy that needs our help. Humanity has always been at its best when fighting against tyranny, and now we have a galaxy to liberate." In the vastness of space, 17 battered ships carried a warning about the small blue planet that had decimated the greatest invasion force in hegemony history. But by the time that warning arrived, humanity would already be on the move, not as conquerors, but as liberators. Because that's what humans do. We adapt, we survive, and we never, ever give up.